Hi guys, today for my informative speech, I'm going to be going over how to bake chocolate chip cookies. Now, have you ever walked into the kitchen or a room and smelled freshly baked chocolate chip cookies? What does this smell remind you of? For me, it reminds me of my family, it reminds me of home, and it just fills me up with love. So, in order to recreate the smell, I'm going to be taking you step by step on how to bake these chocolate chip cookies so you're also able to feel the love. First things first, we're going to be going over the ingredients for the chocolate chip cookies. Now, first glance at these ingredients, you're going to be thinking their ingredients, every product or every food that you bake is going to need ingredients. But I bet from this whole list, from flour, butter, sugar, vanilla extract, eggs, and chocolate chips, you're not going to know which two are the most important. Flour and sugar. According to the University of Nebraska and the functions of baking ingredients, flour has a lot to do with the structure of your cookies, and sugar has a lot to do with the sweetness and the color of your cookies. Of course, you want your cookies coming out a golden brown. You don't want them coming out a light brown. Golden brown is more appealing. Also, the sweetness, you don't want it to be undersweet, you don't want it to be overly sweet. And obviously, the structure of your cookies, you don't want it to come looking out a funky shape. You want it to be a perfect round shape or close to a perfect round shape. Now, also according to the journey of food science, sugar and flour has a lot to do with the spread of your cookies. If you baked cookies in the past before, they might have come out too small or too big, too thin, too thick. The flour and sugar have a lot to do with this. So make sure that when you're going to the grocery store or maybe looking through your fridge or your cabinets for these ingredients, you see that the flour and the sugar are up to date and very, very new and from the best brand you can think of. So, next thing is the mixing. Now, according to Foods, mixing is such a big deal with cookies. You might know it, but over mixing your cookies could actually lead to toughness, which nobody wants. Nobody wants your cookies to be too tough, too soft. For me, I like them right in the middle because I feel like that's the best of both worlds, personally. Now, for the mixing, first you're going to put in your melted butter, I should add, sugar, eggs, vanilla extract, and in the end, any dry ingredients, which are going to be your flour. Now, for the mixing, you could grab a whisk. For me, a mixer would probably be easier because a whisk is going to hurt your hand. It's probably going to make you feel like your hand or your arm's going to fall off by the end of it. And mixer is obviously going to prevent over mixing because when you're whisking, you're kind of just trying to get it done. You're not really paying attention to how long you're whisking for. A mixer is going to do that for you. And you could also start preheating the oven while your mixer is obviously mixing the ingredients all for you. Now, let's move on to preheating the oven and the thing you need to do before. Very, very, very important. A lot of you guys might not know that the dough needs to be let out to chill for at least 30 minutes. Personally, I used to not let my dough chill and I used to just put it on the baking sheet and shove it inside the oven. No. Did you actually know that letting it chill is gonna affect or have better results in the flavor and the texture? I know. Try it. Take my word for it. I used to not let my dough chill, and then after I did, I noticed a lot of improvement. Now, according to food science and nutrients, the temperature of your cookie or the oven has a lot to do with the quality and the flavor. Of course, you might have known this, but make sure you are not letting your cookies burn in the oven, making sure they're in there for the amount of time they need to be in there, 10 to 12 minutes. A way I know that my cookies are ready and ready to be taken out is the outside of the cookie, like the edges, they start to be a golden brown. For me, that's my signal to take them out and be ready, and they're almost ready to be eaten because at this point I'm very anxious and I want them out already because I know the smell is already filling my kitchen and I just want to eat them. So make sure to be patient. I know the chilling might be something new you didn't know of, but it's very, very important and it's going to improve your cookies. And of course, everybody wants the perfect cookies. You want everybody telling you, what did you do? What's your secret to your cookies? So now that they're out of the oven, you're going to let your cookies chill on a tray, and then you're going to transfer them to a wired rack to finish cooling, because then you don't want them to be too sticky to the baking sheet, You want them to be able to pop out nice and ready, because at this point I'm literally about to like put a hot burning cookie in my mouth because I want it so bad. And after this, you're basically done. They are ready to eat, and you are ready to enjoy them, share them, maybe keep them to yourself. I won't judge if you're gonna share them with your family or eat them all by yourself. Go ahead and do it. You bake those cookies, you deserve them. Fill yourself up with love. So now that we've gone over my whole baking cookies, I want to say thank you for listening to my speech, and I want to leave you with this important quote that I love, is that baking is love made edible. Of course it's love made edible, because it feels